Hey guys, Frank here, and let's take a look at this shot. It's a little bit abstract, right? But I absolutely love it. So how did I shoot this one? Now, adding motion to a shot is of course always fun. We have a whole workshop called Adding Motion to Shots. But adding motion isn't just about jumping models or a flick of the hair or a ball that is flying through the studio. Adding motion can be a few things. The first thing, of course, is flash. And with flash, you freeze the motion. So if a model that jumps and that's it, it's frozen in the air. But you also have continuous lighting. And with continuous lighting, it builds up over time. So if you shoot something with continuous lighting, you have to make sure that your model stands totally still. Don't breathe. Look into the camera. There we go. Okay, we got the shot. Okay, I'm a little bit overacting, of course. But continuous lighting builds up over the time. The strobe is freezing motion at once. And in this case, we're combining both. So for the first setup, I'm actually using a large pavo tube from Nonlight on the cop mode. So that means that it alternates between red and blue, and it just keeps alternating. On one side, I have a strobe, in this case the S26 from Gigoto with a grid. And it's important in this case that you make sure that the strobe is a little bit from the side. Because what we're going to do is we're going to combine the strobe with the continuous lighting. So that means that first the strobe hits the model, modeling lights are off, and then everything else is opened up with that cop light, right? The problem is, if you do that on the face of your model, the model is frozen with the strobe, but it's all blurry because of that cop light, right? You don't want that continuous lighting also on the face. So you have, as a photographer, you have to think very fast. I'm shooting at 2 seconds for my shutter speed. What I do is I will focus on the eyes of my model, and that's the first problem. How do I focus on the eyes of the model? Because the modeling lights are off. The studio lights are off. It's pitch dark. The only thing I see is that flickering light from the cop lights. That's where we use a little bit of a torch help. So one of the students is holding a torch on the face of the model, making sure that the face is properly lit, and now I can focus very easily. The torch goes off and now I can shoot. So how do we shoot it? S26 from the side to make sure that we have a nice accent light on the side, and now the model just moves around, and we use the other light with the red and the blue to fill in the shadows. But again, if you have it on the face, that doesn't look nice. So what do I do? The first thing I do is focus, and now let's do it very slowly. I have my focus, okay, the torch can go away. I press, now the shutter is pressed, so the first strobe is firing. Now what I do is I tilt my camera down. By tilting the camera down, I'm making sure that the face is not lit by anything anymore because it's out of the frame. And that means that I have my first set of motion in there. So the strobe is aimed at the face. After that, I move my camera down for the rest of the, let's say, 1.5 seconds. And then my light has free range because the face is already frozen and I don't want it infected with too much light. That's one setup you can do. And of course, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can move your camera around, you can tilt your camera. You have a lot of nice options. The problem is for me, during a workshop, I don't have enough time to really test it out. If I have an hour with a model, I can create beautiful shots. So for the first set, we're going to show you the lighting setup and the final results. But do remember, I'm only taking 10 shots. So it isn't 100% perfect, but you will find out that it looks nice, at least in one shot. Okay, so that was the first setup. The second setup is a little bit more complicated, but it's a lot of fun. For the first setup, I'm using only that light from the side, flickering red and blue, and one strobe. But how about placing that light on blue, so only blue now, lay it on the floor, aimed slightly up, and now use one strobe on this side and one strobe on that side, and fire them off separately. Wow, how can you do something like that? The first thing you can do is use multi-sync. And that means actually that strobe 1 goes off at the first click of your button, and the second strobe goes off after 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. You can just program that, or you can do 10 in a second. It doesn't, you have all these options. But in this case, we wanted to do it slightly differently. What if you have strobes that can't do anything with sequential strobing or stroboscopic effects? They're just very simple strobes. Well, use remote controls like these. These are dumb remote controls. And what we did is the first one is triggered by my camera. That's easy, right? And we have that on channel 1. The second strobe, one of my students is holding. And as soon as I say yes, he fires the strobe. And that's strobe number 2. And strobe number 2 is actually on channel 2. So they don't interact with each other. Make sure you disable the optical eye, right? Because otherwise they both fire. So what happens now? My model looks towards the first strobe, the S26. The strobe goes off. Now my model starts to turn. I start to zoom in and zoom out. And she ends up looking at the second strobe. And the second strobe is a slightly smaller strobe, the quickie. As soon as he looks that way and I'm under that 2 seconds, I tell my student, press the shutter or press the button. Bam, and then the second strobe goes off. As long as you time that within the 2 seconds, you have no problem at all. One of the students actually asked me, like, how can you time that exactly at 2 seconds? And that's the trick. You don't need to time it at 2 seconds. The only thing you have to make sure is that within that period of 2 seconds, we have one moment where she looks at that strobe, and we have one moment, preferably at the end, where she looks at that strobe. Even if she would have turned in 1 second and just keeps looking at that strobe for a second, it doesn't matter. As long as the strobe fires after that, it's gone. So that means that it doesn't matter where the strobe fires, as long as it's about at the end. Yeah? Let's take a look at the behind the scenes video so you can see the lighting setup and the final results. So, dragging the shutter, that's actually what we're doing here. In other words, we're using a longer shutter speed with a strobe that's very fast. This is one of the most creative things I think you can do with photography. Add some smoke, add some lights from the back, and you can create beautiful art. The funny thing is, it will never be the same. Every time you shoot it, it will be different. And the cool thing is, zoom in, zoom out, move your camera, turn it around. There are so many creative solutions. So the next time you're in the studio, maybe try something with a LED tube and your strobes. And you will find out that nowadays the LED tubes emit a lot of light, so you can still shoot it on f11 or f8. When we started doing this with small Christmas lights, we had to shoot it on ISO 1600 2.8. Nowadays, with these high-powered LED tubes, you can do it on much smaller apertures, so have more depth of field and can move your model around a lot more. The only thing you have to take into account is where do I place my model and where do I end up in my frame. Because during the photo you have a frame blackout. In other words, you don't see anything. Unless of course you have a camera that builds up over time, like for example the Olympus system. I'm shooting with the Sony and for me it's just a blackout. So I have to remember about, okay, I move it here and that's it. Not a big deal, but it's handy. And in this case I'm just shooting it on the back of the camera. So I'm holding my camera like this. I do my flip screen, I do it up. And now I practice like, okay, she's in the frame where I want her for the first. This is the frame where I want her for the second. Let's see, this is about this. Okay, start. 1, 2, there we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, fire the second strobe, bam, and we're done. And then most of the times it sucks. Sometimes it just works great and you get a beautiful, beautiful abstract image. So, I hope you enjoyed this little tip about dragging the shutter and working with continuous lighting and strobes. I hope you have a wonderful creative time in your studio, and remember, when it doesn't work, it's supposed to not work because this is really tricky to get right. So when you get something that works, don't worry if you can't repeat it, just be happy with that one lucky shot. I know I am. When I get one that works, I'm very happy because I know how difficult it is. See you again next time. Bye guys.